Jessica Alstrom, spiritual teacher, medical intuitive, and quantum integration specialist, answers your spiritual questions and assists you through understanding your personal process while providing tools and techniques to move swiftly through the journey back to light.
Good afternoon and welcome to Transcendence Podcast. This is your host, Jessica Alstrom, and today I'm doing a podcast on how to raise your personal vibration. I've been getting this email a lot, and I'm thrilled that you guys are listening and that you're giving me feedback and requests, and I know how exciting and scary this journey can be, and I hope that I can help in some shade or another on your journey. So today, how to raise your vibration. First of all, what is vibration? Vibration is emotional standpoint, and that's how we would categorize it on planet Earth, or the third dimension. Is we could use the reference of emotions. There's good emotions and there's bad emotions. There's high vibrations and there's low vibrations. You know, there's angels and there's demons, you could say, and everything is categorized through frequency. And just like there's love stories, there's horror movies. And that is kind of this quick idea of what vibration is it's sound waves that are either extremely dense or extremely light. And the denser the vibration, the slower the energy moves. And the higher the vibration, the faster the energy moves. The slower the vibration, the more ignorant someone is or something is, the higher their vibration is the more open and intuitive and intelligent. So we could say that genius resides in a high vibrational frequency and ignorance resides in a low vibrational frequency. Hate resides in a low frequency. Love resides in a high frequency. And so obviously we are trying to raise our personal vibration in order for us to be able to achieve and manifest the life that we want to have versus the life that we've maybe finding ourselves in. And so today I wanted to give you, first and foremost, a lot of information about, things that you can do to raise your personal vibration. And the trick of it is my question for you is, how aware are you willing to be? Because if you're not willing to be aware, then you're going to find yourself ignorant in a lot of ways. And you could probably look around this country, which is the United States, and see a ton of ignorance. And there's a ton of dense energy. And ignorance is always accompanied by fear. And fear is that the unknown, that something is good or bad. And in a higher frequency, spiritual perspective, metaphysical perspective, we understand that everything is neutral until you give it meaning. There is no good or bad, there just is expressions of energy that are traveling dense or they're traveling light. And as the planet lightens up, obviously we're moving through a very intense shift where the planet is literally being recalibrated back into light. At one time, this planet was a seventh dimensional planet, and the beings that were on this planet were extremely high vibration, and it was pretty amazing. And so in order for a grand experiment, this planet went through a de-ascension process all the way back down to its densest parts, and went down from all the way to the first dimension and then back up to a third dimension. And third dimension is where this planet has been residing for a really long time, okay? And third dimension is it's time and space. It's creative expression that happens usually through a male energetic spectrum of action, and the kind of masculine energy of power. And this planet has been ruled for a really long time through action and power. And it hasn't really been a heart-spaced planet for a really long time, although, Mother Earth herself has been able to hold the frequency of the fourth and fifth dimension for a really long time now, even though its children have not quite got the memo. So that's what you hear all through the metaphysical communities. Raise your vibration, raise your vibration. And you're like, what the heck is that? And basically what it means is change your mindsets to be more positive and find the emotions that you're locked in and trapped in and figure out how to move those into a higher spectrum, because you will not move into ascension unless the totality of your existence rises up, lightens up, raises its frequency. Now, your higher self resides in the frequency of higher excitement. It resides in love and passion and joy. And if you don't know what that looks like, look at a 2-year-old when they're having a good day and watch them play, and the ecstasy that is on their face by just running through flowers. That's what higher self is. That's the frequency of higher self. Now, the frequency of the ego is fear and grief. And it loves to play with guilt and shame and humiliation as a form of perpetuating fear. And, why do we have that? Why do we have the ego? Well, we came from, source energy down into a third dimensional planet where the game on the planet was power and control. So although we are divine source energy, we dove down into the density and collected that construct into our biological computer we call the body. And there was a program running that is a third dimensional program of control and power. And control and power is about fear. And because the thing is if someone doesn't have love, they're going to search for power. If someone doesn't have the ability to be loved, they're going to search for that success, that stuff, those things, those items, those drugs, those people that is going to fill the hole where the heart should be. And you notice that someone who is in the vibrational frequency of unconditional love is extremely generous, even if they don't have 2 nickels to rub together. So you can tell someone's vibration basically by the life that they're living. And one of the things that I ask my students all the time is, what vibration are you chronically in? What emotion are you chronically in? We can replace the word emotion with vibration, because what is emotion? It's energy in motion, vibration. Okay? They're basically sound waves, light waves that are traveling at a frequency that becomes something. So and they collaborate together when they're focused upon, and they become. Otherwise, they're just random particles floating out throughout the universe, and the different spectrums of frequency you could consider the same as radio stations. What are you tapping into? What are you plugged into? What are you turned on with? And that's why I ask people, the first thing about the metaphysical spiritual journey is not spirituality at all, it's awareness. If you are not willing to get really aware with yourself and the way that you feel and the emotions that you are generating and receiving, then you aren't going to get very far on the journey, because you have to realize the toolkit that you have, and you have this higher self, and yes, you have this ego, but that's what you came out here to do, is play in duality. You came to play, you played in the paradox that there is both dark and light within your being, and you have a critic and you have a cheerleader built into you. And depending on what themes that you choose to learn while you're here, you pick up parents that are going to push all of your buttons. And you're going to pick an environment that's going to challenge your love and joy. It's like I watch my 3-year-old run around the house playing with his toys, and then I say, okay, it's time for bath. And it's like, I'm stealing your joy, and it's the same way for us, because we're going along in our imagination, so we're doing something we love, and then it's, back to work. Now it's back to this. Now it's back to school. I've got to do dishes. So it's constantly an everyday, all day expression of raising and lowering our frequency based on what we're focused upon. Now, I just did a podcast that I released just a few hours ago, and it's called Time Travel, the Fastest Way to Heal Your Past. I would absolutely recommend listening to that in order to be able to go in and change your personal vibration, because you can change it as much as you can on the inside, and then at some point you've got to go inside of yourself and you've got to change your inner vibrational frequency, because 90% of your subconscious mind is vibrating its own song. And its song could be, we're not good enough, we don't have enough, nobody loves us, no matter how hard we try, we're not as good as our neighbor, fill in the blank. So if you got that critic that's pretty loud on a subconscious automatic trigger, then you're going to have to do a lot in your physical reality in order to balance out your frequency. And that doesn't usually happen. Usually people's inner vibration is a vibrational match to the outside. So someone who is feeling completely lost on the inside will be, will have navigation issues, or they will feel lost in life, or they will find themselves lost a lot, or they will have safety issues around direction and where they're supposed to be, and they don't want to leave the house. And so everything is a vibrational match of what's on the inside is a reflection of what happens on the outside. And so what I've been doing a lot lately, which is kind of funny, because as the shift increases on the planet and more light, as the planet begins to move back into its seventh dimensional state, which is going to be the final ascension process where we move, it's an alchemy process. It's turning darkness into light. And so that's what we're doing as a collective, and that's what we're doing individually. So it's all about, not running out and trying to raise the vibration of the planet as much as it's first raise vibrational frequency, because a vibrational frequency that is raised is a lot more capable. Their manifestations are way more intense in the positive. They are surrounded by like-minded people. They have opportunities and circumstances that line up with higher vibrational thoughts and feelings. And if you're going to keep your vibration low, your life is going to be pretty slow and blocked and stuck, and there's going to be a lot of judgment, there's going to be a lot of ignorance, and I'm not using that as a bad word, but the lower your vibration is, the more ignorant you are. And it could be just you're ignorant to what your body is needing nutritionally right now, And I will say that when you're in a vibrational frequency of emotion, your body is going to crave food that is a vibrational match to that frequency. So if I am in fear and guilt and shame and judgment, I am going for the sugar processed carbohydrates. I am going for the table salt. I am going for the alcohol and the soda pop. I am forgetting to drink water. I am, not taking my supplements. I am definitely not exercising properly, or I'm exercising to the excess of trying to perpetrate myself, or maybe I'm starving myself and I'm at war with myself while I'm doing that. Fill in the blank. When you become a high vibrational person, life just gets really fast, but really, really easy, which means your conflicts resolve very quickly if you even have any of them. Things just show up. Money is just, you step into it. Healing is not even an issue because a high vibrational body is not sick. You're very creative, intuitive, connected to your spiritual abilities. You are in alignment with, more loving things, which means you're going to find yourself having more loving thoughts. You're going to be finding the loving books. You're going to watch the loving movies. You're just going to be, living in the universe of basically what channel you're watching. And so it's kind of like if you turned on the channel and there's, a cop drama, and that would represent your life. All you would really be able to experience is those scenarios over and over again until you rise your personal vibration into a new reality, and that makes you a vibrational match to all new things. And so that's kind of what I've been talking about over and over again in the podcasts is, if you want something that you've never had before, you have to become the person you want to be. And so how do we raise our vibration? Well, I've been doing a ton of house clearings lately, which is so ironic because with the shift, so much more energy is accessible on the planet, and the veil is thinning so quickly that there's a lot more paranormal activity to be seen. And maybe it's because people's vibration is rising and people are just becoming more aware of the paranormal energy that's been around them forever. It doesn't matter. The point is people are starting to notice it, and I do not go in and do, demonic exorcisms on homes because I don't really believe that, and therefore if there was some sort of demonic entity in the house, I would probably work on your personal vibration because you're a match to that. Your house is just a sad bystander of what you're generating and projecting because your house has its own consciousness and your house has its own stories, but your house is activated by you and by the people that it lives there with. And so when I do these house clearings, I do it from a quantum perspective and a vibrational perspective. I am not going in to judge, whether you have ghosts or not. And everyone does. I mean, not ghosts, but everybody's got energies that walk all everywhere with the planet. The planet is completely crowded with paranormal, psychic, guides, angels, aliens, you name it. It's just, we're all sharing the planet. Just what you can see through your 3D glasses is just, the human standing next to you. So as your vibration increases, you're also getting rid of fear, guilt, shame, humiliation, and resentment. And therefore, if you did see a spirit guide standing next to you, it would no longer scare you. So when I do these house clearings, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the vibrational lows. I'm looking for the static energy. And I will tell you that if you do not have if you have something in your house that you do not use or love, negative energy is going to settle there. And I don't mean negative entities. I mean frustration, arguments, judgments, unprocessed feelings, because energy is very, very real. Thoughts are very, very real. Feelings are very, very real. Thoughts are energetic and feelings are magnetic. So it's going to find some place to stick. And I wrote a blog, and it's called 11 Ways to Clear Your House Energetically with my amazing partner, Amber. And she did the intelligent writing, and I did the blabbering. And she wrote it down, and so that blog is actually on our website under the blog Transcendence Wellness Center in 11 Ways to Clear Your House Energetically, but I was going to just dive into a little bit of it now. Ways to raise your personal vibration is to clear out your house. Get out anything that you don't use or love, because what you don't use or love is not being expressed through expansion of the universe, and therefore it'll become energetic clutter. And energetic clutter could be an old fight that you didn't get your 2 cents in with your spouse, and there's old resentment, and it's settled in that pile of papers in the corner. And now every time you walk by the corner, you feel, like, oh, I'm so angry with him, And you won't have any conscious realization that that's happening, because you could just walk by and you actually believe your thoughts are you. So therefore you're like triggered for no reason just because you walked by a pile of papers. And that pile of clutter has become so part of your reality that you don't even see that clutter anymore. And that's kind of like a lot of our shadow aspects in our subconscious mind. It's like it's become so part of us, we don't even realize it. And isn't it funny how you notice your clutter when people come to your house? Isn't it funny how you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I have been sitting here looking at this pile of papers for 18 years and I didn't notice it until we had house guests. Because again, why do you notice it when your house guest comes? Because your perspective changes. You're now looking through someone else's glasses and you're judging yourself through their eyes, and that's a low frequency. So we want to raise frequency. How do we raise frequency? I'm just going to kind of go down the lists intuitively of what's coming to me. Clean out your house, declutter your space. Give things away. If you're a clutter hound or a pack rat, I'm going to tell you that's coming from fear. That's coming from I won't have what I need, or you're using things as a way to fill the hole of love that you don't have for yourself. Get rid of things. And then how you can do that very lovingly is the thing that you're no longer in love with or using. You could find someone who would be so grateful for that. Do you need 6 blenders, or could you find like a single mom who, just left an abusive relationship with 6 kids who really needs a blender? How amazing would that feel? That would raise your vibration. Giving things away is a huge way to raise your vibration. Doing it for no other reason other than the joy that it's going to create in someone else. Nothing needed back. And I like to give things away to nonprofit places where they're actually going in and finding people that need it, instead of doing it, in a thrift store for profit where somebody's at the top of the pyramid making a bunch of money. I like to give things to, the mom is in need, or the people who have not moved into that vibrational awareness that they create their reality yet. And that feels really good, and that raises my vibration, and now my house's vibration is raised. When I go into a house, I look to see where the arguments have settled. I look for the hot spots. I'm not looking for entities as much as I'm looking for old negative energy that's stored. I'm looking at family pictures. I can tell whether or not that family was in a good space when that picture was taken. And if I feel something that feels really, not joy, love, or above, I will ask them to take it down and take a new picture. And sometimes it looks great on the outside, and it's got a lot of negative connotation attached to it. And, we hold a lot of things because we don't want to let go of our memories. But if we can replace things with memories that just really feed us and bring us to a safe space, then that will help us raise our vibration when we're unconscious after we've had a long day of work. And so your house is another byproduct of your body, and your house becomes another extension of you. And I also check the walls energetically to make sure that the energy is flowing properly through the walls, because if there's a circuit somewhere that's not flowing, that will be messing with your chakras. It'll be messing with your personal vibration. I feel for mold. And I'm doing this intuitively, and I'm not saying that you have to find someone out there that can do this. I'm saying that you could do the simple things and raise the vibration of your home. But I'm feeling for things that are low vibration in the house, and I'm asking them through their own imagination and choice, after I give them a few solutions of things that they can do to raise that, like replace pictures or put a family picture where a hot spot used to be. Put a picture of your favorite grandmother, on that ledge where the fireplace is, where all of your fights reside. Declutter your house. Open your windows, because opening your windows is like recharging a crystal. It's like if you can let fresh air and light in. Sunlight is information, it's photons, and information creates downloads, so your house actually gets an upgrade every time you let the sunlight stream naturally through your home. Salt lamps absorb negative energy. Essential oils are amazing for raising the vibration, because essential oils and all herbs, all plants, all rocks, all crystals have a very unique frequency, and they will not drop down into your frequency. They will reside where they need to be. They might get a little dull at times, and you can recharge them with the sunlight, moonlight, but they're awesome to have in your house, because they're like little spirit guides that hold space for you and hold you in a high vibration. Plants, living plants, need to be in your home, and they need to be cared for. If you do not have a green thumb, please get something that's hard to kill, like a cactus that will it will absorb radiation for you. Put it by your computer. Get EMF diffusers for your phones. I'm telling you, you are electromagnetic energy and electricity, and so is your phone. You are a satellite, and so is your phone, and sometimes you will not know the difference between you and the energy that's streaming through the satellites, and you will feel overwhelmed, and you will feel like you have ADD. Turn your Wi-Fi off at night. The Wi-Fi at night is super important, because you are checked out, you are back to source energy in your sleep cycle, and your body is one big satellite, and your body is searching for information, and it's playing stories over and over again, and it's recording on an unconscious and subconscious level. And if you've got Wi-Fi streaming, Wi-Fi is constantly looking for a place to connect. And it will connect with you, and it will make your sleep cycle weird. You'll have dreams. You won't sleep as well. You will not sleep as soundly. So that is something that's really huge. 10 to 15 minutes of direct sunlight a day. I don't believe sun gives you cancer. I believe thoughts give you cancer. So spend time. You don't have to be in direct sunlight at the hottest point of the day, but 10 minutes in the morning or 10 minutes at night, and just sit with the sun and take the downloads, because the sun is like the biggest spirit guide in the world, trying to upgrade you constantly. Clean water. Spring water, alkaline water, distilled water. Make it through the runs. Just don't drink tap water if you live in a bad environment, because you're drinking a ton of pharmaceuticals, because they can't filter that out through the governmental funding. So you're drinking a ton of, Xanax and whatever, and estrogen. You're drinking a ton of birth control, because 45% of the planet is on some sort of birth control, at least in this country. 45% of this country, I'll say. And so you're drinking that if you live in the United States. What else? Perimeter check, huge. And I will tell you that this is probably the biggest one. Who's in your life? Who makes you feel small? Who triggers you? Who makes your blood boil? Who contradicts your natural expression? Who does not allow you to be authentic? Change your relationship with them immediately. I'm telling you, people are the most toxic thing on the planet. Nature is the most healing thing on the planet, and because nature is the expression of love, and people are the most negative. And people will trigger your timeline, they'll lower your vibration, and people have the ability to put you under a spell so much more than toxic chemicals do. So people, get away from people, or change your relationship with people who make you feel small, because they're going to drop your vibration out very quickly with the power of influence. You're not going to be able to hold your frequency high around negative people. You can't do it. So if that means you need to leave the job for your own vibration, figure out how to do that. Listen to one of my manifesting podcasts and learn how to manifest something. Toxic chemicals, all processed food and white sugar, that's going to lower your frequency. Meat, animals that have been mistreated Okay, if you're eating animals, the ones that have been mistreated, you are ingesting all of that empathically, whatever their story was. And so, if you're going to eat animals, make sure that they were at least loved and cared for properly. And then that will go into your muscle structure through your amino acids. Clean vegetables, getting the pesticides and chemicals off of your food, because your brain becomes very neurotoxic to those, and signals start getting crossed and you feel schizophrenic or you feel crazy. So, you've got to make sure that brain-body connection stays in balance. Chiropractic adjustments. This will raise your vibration because your nervous system gets out of fight or flight for a little bit. Belly breathing, breath work. This is going to raise your vibration, because as soon as you breathe information or energy into your body, your souls get some oxygen. Usually if you're in fight or flight, scared, worried, afraid, you are shallow breathing and your body is not being oxygenated, and therefore it's not really alive. So you feel like you're battery operated. You're dealing with tons of fatigue and adrenal fatigue, and you're exhausted, but your mind is running 1 billion miles an hour. Does that sound like you? So you've got to learn to breathe. You've got to learn to meditate. And I'm going to tell you, meditation for me is what was the only thing that helped me chronically change my vibration, because it got me and my stories out of the way for 30 minutes every day, and my whole inner self, higher self, began to flow more through me than my ego was flowing through me. Another way to raise your vibration is to help people, to be of service, to pay it forward, to be kind, to listen to people instead of talk. Work on your own personal frequency, do the timeline work, do the time travel process, work on your triggers. Working on yourself raises your vibration as long as you're not beating yourself up for it. Doing self-loving things, self-care. It's like if you've been running for, 60 days straight, you need to take a day off. That's going to raise your vibration. Rain. Being around or smelling rain or water is going to raise your vibration. Epsom salt baths, if you're not near the ocean, are going to help raise your vibration and detoxify you. Going on a fast for a couple of days, once a year or twice a year, is going to help raise your vibration. It's going to get all the food stories out of your body so that your body can recalibrate to higher self. What else? MindFit, that's something that we use here. It's our meditation system for people who can't meditate on their own. It helps clear out all the PTSD and all the programming. It helps do lots and lots of brain-based wellness, which is, as soon as you get into the theta brainwave, that's the frequency of excitement and higher self. And so we manually are able to put you there through this device. And I love it. It's changed my life. What else do we have? Obviously, eating food that makes your body feel good, listening to your body, being mindful to yourself and other people, that raises your vibration. Do not watch commercial television. I'm telling you, as a hypnotherapist, you are being programmed and completely lied to. So find stories that empower you. There is 1 billion people on this planet that are doing good, and find them and focus on what's going right. Become a problem solver instead of a problem seer. Look at all things as challenges instead of problems. That will raise your vibration. Know that when you create the problem, you also create the solution, because you are the paradox. You are the yin and the yang, and you are making it all up. Lighten up. Go watch hilarious movies. Make fun of yourself, and in a loving way. Watch YouTube videos, read, and educate yourself, and then use the education to practically bring that into your life, and that's going to be a very fast way to raise your vibration. Be around people who love you. Be around people who pick you up. Find people who inspire you, and study their lives, and study their attributes and where they've come from and where they are now, because that will give you inspiration and hope will raise your vibration. And I will tell you that the highest vibration of the planet that you can really achieve as a human here is that unconditional love and gratitude. And once you're there, things really start to speed up in your life. And when you're in fear and grief, everything feels like you're moving in quicksand. And so I just wanted to do this short little podcast today as a way for you to be able to check in and raise your vibration. But I will tell you that out of all of them is, yes, clear your house, yes, check in with yourself, yes, do the time travel work, yes, surround yourself with amazing people. And that may take some time, but at least do something every single day. And, one of the things that will destroy your vibration instantly is going into victim mentality and feeling like the world's against you, because that will drop you into the lower density realms of energy and vibration. And I'm going to tell you, dark energies, negative energy is very slow. So what you notice is your life starts slowing down. So if your life is not completely accelerating, then there is something on the timeline that you've bought into that is making your vibration move really, really slow. And you've got to be aware enough to look around your life and do a perimeter check and say, okay, who's around me? What's around me? What am I putting in my body? Have I been in the sun today? Am I am I meditating? Am I listening to music? Am I learning? Am I teaching? Am I helping? Am I volunteering? Am I paying it forward? Am I being of service? Am I being gratitude? Am I being grateful? You need to be able to talk to yourself about these things, because your life is 90% on autopilot. Especially if you've been doing the same thing over and over again. Your body knows how to live your life. Your brain knows who you are. Law of attraction knows who you've been. And it's going to recycle that no matter how much action you put forth. If you don't raise your vibration, your life is going to be a series of unfortunate events. If you raise your vibration, your life will be joyful moments and challenges that are met with gratitude and love. And you will find yourself in what feels like heaven on earth. So I hope this podcast helped you check in and understand vibration a little bit more on the spiritual side of the journey and the metaphysical side of the journey, because that's what it's all about. It's about vibration and learning to master it and hold it and be aware of it. And I am going to leave you with that today, and I hope that you picked out one or two things on the podcast that really resonate with you, and then you go share that with someone else. Enjoy your day, and I will be back soon.
Thank you for joining Jessica on this transcending episode. Email us directly at jessicaalstrom@gmail.com with your questions and personal challenges you would like addressed on the show. And join us on next week's podcast. You are not alone, and remember, your higher self speaks to you through people, places, circumstances, and events.